Let's make some dairy-free Rasta Pasta with Jerk Oyster Mushrooms. I'm going to begin this recipe by making the star of the show, which is our jerk paste. So to a blender, I'm going to add in some chopped yellow onion, some scallion, and we're kind of just going to shove everything in here. Some garlic cloves, the star of the show, which is some Scotch bonnet peppers. These are what Scotch bonnet peppers look like, and depending on how spicy you want it, that'll determine how many peppers you put inside of it. So we're just gonna drop them in whole. Then I'm adding in some soy sauce, apple cider vinegar, and olive oil, some brown sugar, and some spices, which consists of some allspice, thyme, salt, cinnamon, ground ginger, nutmeg. And now I'm going to bring this over to the blender and we're going to blend it out until we get a paste. After blending out my jerk paste, I'm going to take some limes and we're going to squeeze some juice into it and blend it just for a little bit longer until it is smooth. Once you make your jerk paste, it should look something like this. And because my recipe makes about a quart, we're definitely not gonna need a quart for the recipe we're doing today. So I would suggest filling this up in an ice tray and freezing them for individual portions for whenever you wanna jerk something. I have my oyster mushrooms here washed, separated, and dried. So I just separated them into bigger, bite-sized pieces, I guess. And now I have gloves on because we are going to be marinating our oyster mushrooms in our jerk paste, and Scotch bonnet peppers are super hot and you do not want that on your hands if you needed to rub your eye or something, so I'm using gloves for protection. So to my oyster mushrooms, I'm putting in some garlic powder and onion powder. And then I'm going to take our jerk paste and put that on as well. And then we're going to rub it all together and let this marinate for a bit while we cook our pasta and make our sauce for the Rasta Pasta. I have a confession to make, y'all. Oyster mushrooms literally have me in a chokehold, especially jerk oyster mushrooms. I absolutely love them. I eat them all the time with different side dishes, and I'm just so happy that I could show you guys how to make this for yourselves. While our oyster mushrooms marinate, I'm going to cook my penne pasta to the directions of my pack. While I wait for the pasta to cook, I'm going to slice up some bell peppers for my Rasta Pasta. So I'm probably going to be using about a half of each pepper to make it colorful. So I'm just, cutting off a piece, removing the seed. And then we're just going to thinly slice it. Until we have enough slices for our pasta. Traditionally, Rasta Pasta is made with green bell peppers, but I find green bell peppers to be a little bit bitter, so I choose not to add that to my Rasta Pasta. But you could definitely do that if you like, if you want to let traditional, Rastafarian colors that comes with the Jamaican culture. But we're just not doing that for this. I'm also going to cut up some scallion for our pasta as well. Let me know in the comments if you guys call these scallions or do you call it green onion. Granted, it's one and the same, but I'm just curious. And when I finish cutting this up, I'm going to move over to the stove and we're going to start grilling up our oyster mushrooms. I have my grill pan preheated, so now I'm going to take my marinated mushrooms and put them directly onto the grill. And we're gonna let these cook down and char for a few minutes. And then we're gonna flip them and do the same thing to the other side. While my mushrooms are grilling away, I just wanted to show you real quick what I mean about putting your extra jerk paste into an ice cube tray and freezing it for later. So I have my jerk paste here, and I'm literally filling a tray with it, and we're making ice cubes, but it's just jerk paste. So this ice cube tray I have solely for this purpose, to freeze any extra sauces that I have that I know I'm not going to be using within a few days or within the week. So I typically use this for extra fresh herbs as well. So I cut it up and then I put the herbs at the bottom of this tray, and then I cover it with water and then freeze it that way. So I'm just gonna fill this whole tray, cover it up, and put it in a freezer. And once it is frozen solid, then I'm going to remove it from this tray and put it into a labeled freezer safe Ziploc, and then just pop it out when I need them. My oyster mushrooms are all grilled off, so now I'm just going to take a knife and do a rough chop on them just to break them down a little bit to get some nice bite-sized pieces. So when we put it with our pasta, you don't have to go and like find a knife to cut up the oyster mushrooms. So just a rough chop, doesn't have to be too pretty. Now I'm going to put our mushrooms back into the same container that they were marinating in. If you already started to wash that container, it's fine. From here, I'm going to take some heated up barbecue sauce, and we're going to pour it all over our mushrooms to get that barbecue jerk effect. You don't want to put a lot of barbecue sauce because we're not making barbecue oyster mushrooms. But if you did clean out your container already that you had the mushrooms marinating in, I would put a little bit more jerk paste into this barbecue sauce, mix it together, and then pour it onto the mushrooms. So I'm now just going to coat the mushrooms in this barbecue sauce, and we're going to leave this off to the side while we work on our Rasta Pasta. To a preheated pan, I added in some olive oil, and now I'm going to put in some chopped garlic and my chopped scallions, and we're going to saute this up until everything has softened. Now I'm going to whisk in some unchicken broth. We're going to stir this all together, making sure to get up any stuck on pieces at the bottom of our pan. I'm also adding in some nutritional yeast, some dried thyme, some full fat coconut milk. We're gonna whisk this together. I'm adding in some of the jerk paste that we made earlier today. Put that in, as well as some salt and pepper to taste. And then we're going to let this simmer until it has thickened. I'm also adding in a little bit of lime juice. My sauce is bubbly and nice and thick, so I'm going to add in my sliced bell peppers. We're gonna let that cook down for about like a minute or two. And then I'm going to add in my penne pasta. I'm going to take my pasta now and just gradually put it in, and because our pasta is already fully cooked, it does not have to sit in here for too long. We're just basically reheating it a bit. The key is not to overcook the pasta because, you know, soggy pasta is nasty. So just pour it in and incorporate everything. And then we're gonna move over to my favorite part, which is plating. I have my bowl here, so we're gonna take our Rasta Pasta and ladle it onto the bottom of our bowl. And then I'm going to top it off with our Jerk barbecue oyster mushrooms. Just put it right on top. And then I'm going to garnish it with some reserved scallions. And there you have it, my dairy-free Rasta Pasta with Jerk Oyster Mushrooms. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, healthy does not mean boring. See you next time.